What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. This may have flew under the radar a little bit as far as Balenciaga's $25 million lawsuit against the producers of the whole bear ad campaign. Now, for those of you that have been living under a rock or have not been following me, if you are following me, or if you watch more than one of my videos, I invite you to continue to share the content that we put together, as well as hold me down by subscribing to the channel, turning on your notifications, and then making sure that you also tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Just recently dropped an interview and I'm dropping a Patreon exclusive video today. But I think that this is all smoke and mirrors, right? Because as we deep dive into this, and it says Balenciaga's filed a lawsuit that includes a Child P court ruling, that included a Child P court ruling, and it was the paperwork that was under it and things like that. With a BDSM teddy bears and new court paper show. The fashion house brought the suit Friday against production company North 6 and set designer Nick Dez and his company for the inclusion in one of the ads of legal documents from the U.S. Supreme Court decision on child P laws. Now, you cannot tell me, ladies and gentlemen, you are not about to sit here and have a conversation with me and tell me that they are not familiar with and don't understand exactly what's going on, and they didn't go with a fine-tooth comb over this whole thing before they approved it and they decided to put it up on their website. You can't do it. Not at all. It continues and says that the fashion brand ad showed unsettling pictures of a child holding a teddy bear dressed in bondage outfits. We had this show the other day. They said Balenciaga is bringing the case to seek redress for extensive damages defendants caused in connection with an advertising campaign Balenciaga hired them to produce. Claims North 6 and Dez included images of the court docs without its knowledge. Stop the cap. Stop the cap. Come on, man. They thought that it would, if it all had went over beautifully. Let's just put it in perspective, right? If it all had went over beautifully and the people had rocked with it and it had sold them a whole lot of things, would they have been suing? Or is this all as a result of trying to cover up, and I think that it's fake, to be honest with you, trying to cover up what they had approved, and then also the fallout that comes along with what Kim Kardashian is saying. Now, we're going to go over Kim Kardashian's statements on Twitter very shortly, but it said, as a result of defendants' misconduct, members of the public, including the news media, have falsely and horrifically associated Balenciaga with the repulsive and deeply disgusting subject of the court decision. Now, when Balenciaga, ladies and gentlemen, when Balenciaga released their decision, and this is the court documents that was sitting under it, when Balenciaga released their statement, they never apologized for the court decision. The only thing that they apologized for was the depiction of the bears in bondage with the little children. But the court decision, they never addressed it in the first place. And people zoomed in enough to be able to see exactly what it is that this is, what this was. And you can't sit here and tell me that it's not the responsibility of the company for what it is that's put out on their behalf. If somebody puts something out on my behalf on my channel, let's just say other people that are moderators or whatever it is that I hire in to bring in, it's still my responsibility. If your accountant messes up your taxes, it is still your responsibility, no matter what. But anyways, this is one of the ads of the kid that was holding a little bondage stuff or whatever like that. And it goes on to talk about the campaign shoot and everything like that. Now let's pivot for a second. I want to switch over, and I want to swing over to Kim Kardashian, because Kim Kardashian has been getting a lot of pushback and a lot of people that are coming for and saying that, hey, we want you to condemn the ad. We want you to hold Balenciaga accountable. Candace Owens, I did a whole show on her talking about it and her standing with Ye. And furthermore, I don't understand how Kim Kardashian is able to stand behind a company that dropped her ex-husband. Listen, I don't care if me and Rita are no longer together. If you don't rock with her, you don't rock with me, because what affects her affects me, especially when we got kids together. But let's go into what Kim Kardashian said. She said, I have been quiet for the past few days, not because I haven't been discussing it. Come on, y'all. We know that she didn't write this herself. We know that it's a strong possibility that it's people on her team that wrote this for her. because they are the most powerful, visible faces in California, Calabasas, Hollywood, and social media today. But let's continue. She said, I've been quiet for the past few days, not because I haven't been discussing and outraged by the Balenciaga campaigns, but because I wanted an opportunity to speak to their team to understand for myself how this could have happened. So are you telling me that over all of these days, I think she's handling it the right way from a PR perspective. I think that it's important for you not to jump to conclusions or jump into an emotional state by releasing something immediately and then torpedoing yourself. So I believe that she's handling it correctly, but I'm looking at it from the lens of a person that's looking behind the scenes and looking at it objectively, not based off of how it is that you should do things, but from the user's perspective as far as how things are turning out. But she says she wanted to find out for herself. Now, stop the cap. We know that you got a direct line to whoever it is that you want to talk to when you want to talk to them. And so this is all a strategic move by both her and Balenciaga to try to mitigate or minimize the impact and the fallout that it comes to her brand, which I believe that any attention to her is just continuing to blow her up as though she needs any more attention whatsoever. But let's continue. She says, as a mother of four, I've been shaken by the disturbing images. Stop the cap. Stop the cap. Your whole career is based off of you laying on your back and opening your mouth, which was not that awesome in the first place. The safety of children must be held with the highest regard, and any attempts to normalize child abuse from any kind should have no place in our society, period. You appreciate Balenciaga's removal of the campaigns and apology. They didn't even apologize for the court documents. They only apologized for the children in the campaign. And speaking with them, I believe they understand the seriousness of the issue and will take the necessary measures for this to never happen again. Stop the cap. And you know what the worst part about this is that I was looking on, scrolling up my timeline, and I was at the For You page. Y'all not gonna stop wearing nothing anyway. Y'all fake outrage. Y'all gonna still rock with Balenciaga. Let's be real. And then she goes on to say, finally, as for my future with Balenciaga, I'm currently reevaluating my relationship with the brand, basing it off their willingness to accept accountability for something that should have never happened to begin with, and the actions I am expecting to see them take to protect children. Now, let me ask you a question. Let me ask you guys a question. What steps exactly should they be taking to protect children? Or how are they going to protect children? Or have they already done an immeasurable amount of damage to the psyche and the public perception and the validation of how it is that we view children in the first place? Let me know what y'all think in the comments. I'm curious as to what y'all thoughts are. Again, make sure you subscribe to the channel, turn on your notifications, and help me to understand, is it more about the money or is it more about the perception and continuing to big herself up in her brand? How do you view this from Balenciaga's perspective? How do you view this from Kim Kardashian's perspective? And then was Kanye right? Was Kanye right? I love you guys. I appreciate you. Again, make sure you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Let me know what y'all thoughts are. I'm going to holler at y'all later. Peace.